بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. Alhamdulillah, welcome back to another lesson of دروس اللغة العربية. Inshallah, today we will be covering الدرس السابع عشر, lesson 17 of دروس اللغة العربية. الدرس means lesson, السابع عشر means 17. And notice here we did mention last lesson as well that numerical construct and phrase from 13 till 19 both will be mabniyun al fath, even when it's used as an adjective as well, sifa. Normally when we say lesson 6, we'll say ad-darsu as-sabi'u, sorry, 7, ad-darsu as-sabi'u. But when we say 17, we will say as-sabi'a ashara, because the numerical construct from 13 till 19, even when we bring it as sifa, na'at, it'll be mabniyun ala al-fath. So ad-darsu as-sabi'a ashara. Now, inshallah, first we will go through the translation of this text, and then we'll go through the vowel markings, the i'rab, and then finally we will dictate the sentence construction, tarkeeb. So we have our first sentence, أبواب المسجد مفتوحة. The doors, abwab means doors. I've got my Arabic keyboard on. So the doors, al-masjid means masjid. Now some might think, why we say the doors, it don't say al-abwab. The reason is because the mudaf ilay al-masjid, if that is ma'rifah, if that is definite, then the mudaf automatically becomes ma'rifah. Therefore, if abwab becomes specific and definite, we can say the doors. So the doors of the masjid, maftuhatun means are open. So the doors of the masjid are open. Okay. So we need to understand here as well that maftuhatun, we've used the singular feminine form maftuhatun because abwab is a broken plural, or it's a plural of an irrational entity. Okay, so it's jam'un لغير عاقل. Okay, or لغير ذوي العقول. So the masjid, the doors of the masjid are open. Our next sentence, لمن هذه البيوت الجديدة. So we'll start off with whose, which shows possession. So the meaning of the lam comes into it. لمن are هذه البيوت الجديدة. These new houses. لمن هذه البيوت الجديدة? Whose are these new houses? Here. So notice here when we're referring back to the houses, it's a broken plural, jam'un mukassarun, or it's a plural of an irrational entity. So we will treat that as singular feminine, something which we learned in the last lesson. So we'll say here. So here does not translate as she. It means they, referring to the houses, sorry. So they are مدير الشركة, the director director of the company. They are, okay, how are we going to phrase this in English? They belong, probably will fit better here. The lam will translate as belong. They belong to the director of the company. Because otherwise we'll be, if you bring in the apostrophe s, we'll be saying they are the directors of the company. That probably don't sound right as well. Okay, so we'll give the meaning of the lam here as belong. So whose are these new houses? لمن هذه البيوت الجديدة؟ هي لمدير الشركة. مدير from أدار يدير. هي لمدير الشركة. They belong to the director of the company. النجوم, which means the stars. Okay, put the capital T there. النجوم جميلة are beautiful. So keep an eye on the khabar of words which are jam'un mukassar. النجوم. نجم to نجوم, the singular form breaks. Okay, so this is known as jam'un mukassarun in Arabic grammar. So when we bring a sifa or a khabar of jam'un mukassar words, we can treat it as singular feminine. Hence, we're saying jamilatun. Okay, النجوم جميلة. The stars are beautiful. هذه الدروس سهلة. These lessons are سهلة, easy. Yes, of course, they are very, very easy. Okay, so these lessons are easy. هذه الدروس سهلة. So notice here, we're treating a durus as singular feminine, so we bring in sahlatun, not sahlun. So these lessons are easy. Fil Hindi lughatun kathiratun. So fil Hind means in India, fil Hind, there are lughatun kathiratun, many languages. Okay, in India there are many languages. You can probably write in the comments how many languages are there in India. في الهند لغات كثيرة. In India there are many languages. So notice here لغات. لغة, it's singular and the plural is لغات. So when we have words which end with alif and a flat ta, so here لغات, even those words as well we can treat as singular feminine as well. Okay, so لغات كثيرة. So notice here كثيرة, the nat of لغات we brought it as singular feminine. في الهند لغات كثيرة. أين الكتب الجديدة? So أين means where is interrogative. Are, we're going to say is because we're bringing a plural word, al-kutub, and we're going to translate the adjective, the noun first. So where are the new, and then we'll translate books, al-kutub. Where are the new books? Okay. أين الكتب الجديدة? So notice here the word al-jadidatu is the nat. So this is an example where the nat of a jam'un mukassarun word. Note most notably here al-kutub, okay, has been brought as singular feminine, al-jadidatu. If we said where is the new book, it'll be ayn al-kitabul jadidu. Now we're bringing books which is broken plural, so we say ayn al-kutubul jadidatu. Where are the new books? Here means they are in fil maktabati, the desk. They are in the desk. Here fil maktabati. So notice here again, here referring back to the books. Al-kutub is broken plural, so we are saying here fil maktabati. They are in the desk. Tilka sururu maksuratun. So tilka we know is used to point at something which is far. So we won't say these, we'll say those. Surur is a plural of sarir. This comes in the Quran as well. Sururun marfu'ah, elevated couches or beds. So sarir plural is surur. So those beds are maksuratun, broken. Okay? So that is the nature of things in this world. They break. Okay, they're not everlasting. كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام. Whereas The afterlife. فيها سرر مرفوعة وأكواب موضوعة. So there'll be elevated couches, placed, perfectly placed cups. G. So here the word surah is broken plural. That's why we said maksuratun when we bring in the khabar of tilka surru. So those beds are broken. Okay, so that sentence is done. الساعة اليابانية دية سري رخيصة. So Japanese watch. Sorry, the الساعة اليابانية. So the Japanese watch is رخيصة means cheap. Okay, so الساعة اليابانية رخيصة. The Japanese watch is cheap. The opposite of رخيصة is ثمينة with a th. Otherwise, if you say with a sin, it means fat. Okay. هذه الحمر. So these هذه is pointing at something which is close. Al-humur is the plural of himar, which means donkey. So al-humur means donkeys. Okay, and there's another plural which is hamir as well. Okay, so both come in the Quran. كأنهم حمر مستنفرة. Okay, so humur. You have to be careful with this word humur, because if you give the sukun to the meme, humrun, it'll actually be the plural version of ahmaru or hamra'u, which means red. So the plural of ahmaru and hamra'u is humrun. So you have to give it that dhamma to give the meaning of donkeys. So these donkeys are the farmers. Okay, these donkeys are the farmers or belong to the farmer. These donkeys belong, because the lamb here is for ownership. So these donkeys belong to, like we learnt in our Quranic course, Quranic series, As-Silsilatul Qur'aniyya, that the Alhamdulillah, the lamb is for ownership. So all praise belongs to Allah. So these donkeys belong to the farmer. Al-Fallah, Lil-Fallahi. So these donkeys belong to the farmer. Aina kutubukunna. So notice here, so how we're relating this back to singular feminine being brought for broken plurals, irrational entities. So here, الساعة اليابانية رخيصة, there's no plural there. So it's just shift of basically sentences to say we're coming back to the singular form for singular feminine. So الساعة is singular, رخيصة is singular feminine. So thus there's mutabaqa between the khabar and the mubtada in terms of its gender and number. Coming back to now number 9, it's following on from the previous 7, where even when we're pointing at and indicating using ismul ishara, qareeb or ba'id, we will apply the same situation. So himar plural is humor, broken plural of an irrational entity, or we can just say it's jam'un mukassarun. So we'll treat it as singular feminine, therefore we're using هذه. هذه. So أين كتبكن? Where are your books? كتبكن, kunna is referring to females. Okay, so where are your books? أين كتابك? Where is your book? If you run that paradigm down, you'll eventually come to kutu. Well, here we're using kutub. So kutubukunna, kunna is an address to plural feminine. Had it been addressed to plural masculine, we'll say أين كتبكم, and then it won't be ya akhawatu, it will be ya ikhwanu. So where are your books? Okay, so let's just put that there. أو أخوات أو sisters, where are your books? أين كتبكن يا أخوات? So here won't mean she, it will mean they, because it's referring to the books, but it's treated as singular feminine because kitab to kutub, the form of the plural no longer remains. So they are fil fasli in the classroom. So they are in the classroom. Okay, so I just want to move that a bit further up so we can fit in number 11 on its own. هذه كتبي. So هذه means, normally means this when you're pointing to a singular feminine, but we're pointing at plural, which is kutub, so we can't say this, we'll say these. And why we're using هذه is, we should know by now, we're pointing at something which is uh, plural of an irrational entity. So kitab, kutub. So these are my books. هذه كتبي وتلك, and وتلك كتب أختي, and those, tilka now is referring to far distance, and those are كتب أختي. Oops, let's just do that again. So these are my books, and those are my sisters' books. هذه كتبي, هذه means this, كتبي my books, وتلك, wow means and, tilka means those, normally means that for far distance singular feminine, but we're referring to books here, so we'll say those. And those are my sister's books. كتب أختي. So there's a double possessive phrase there. Let's see if we can fit the word books on that same line. Probably just about. Okay. Next one. هذه مكاتب الطلاب. So we should know what maktab means. Maktab was desk. So makatib is the plural. So that would mean desks. So these are, and we can say the, because makatib is mudaf towards a word which is ma'rifa, at-tullab, that will make makatib definite. So we can say these are the desks of the students, or we could say these are the students' desks. So we'd say these are, we'll bring the apostrophe s, the students' desks. These are the students' desks, plural, okay, because makatib. And notice here, maktab, maktabun, plural makatib, broken plural. So that's why we treat it as singular feminine, and when pointing at it, we used هذه. في هذا الشارع. في, we don't say in this road. We could just say on this road. I don't know if in English you can probably say in this road. Probably on the road is better. On this road, there are فنادق كبيرة, big hotels. So مطعم is a restaurant, so place of eating. And فندق plural فنادق, remember it's غير منصرف. It's غير منصرف, so we're going to say فنادق, not فنادق, like مسجد, مساجد. Okay, so on this road there are big hotels. So فندق is a place of lodging, and مطعم is restaurant, place of eating. So on this road there are big hotels. في هذا الشارع فنادق كبيرة. So notice here كبيرة, the nat of فنادق, and is treated as, فنادق is treated as singular feminine because when you say فندق to فنادق, it's a broken plural. جمع مكسر. So therefore we will treat, whether we are using ismul ishara, Whether we bring in a khabar or whether we are bringing a nat, we'll treat it as singular feminine, so it'll be kabiratun. So that is the translation. Let's just do the vowel marking. So abwabu, it's a noun at the beginning of a sentence, so it's mubtadaun, so doors. And it's mudaf towards al-masjid, so al-masjid will be mudaf ilayh with the kasra. So abwab al-masjidi, and maftuhatun is the khabar, so that's why we're going to say maftuhatun. So abwab al-masjidi maftuhatun. Liman, li won't change, man will remain as man because it's mabni. So whose are? Now up until here, that forms the khabar muqaddam. Because if we have a jar majrur at the beginning of a sentence, it can't take the role of mubtada'un. Therefore, we'll classify liman as khabar muqaddam. هذه البيوت, so everything else is going to become mubtada muakhar. So هذه is the mubtada'un, al-buyut is the badal of هذه. So if هذه is mubtada'un, it's experienced in the state of raf. Al-buyut is the badal follows mubdal min in i'rab. It's just the only difference is هذه is a mabni word, it's في محل رف, so it'll be in the position of raf, but the i'rab is not expressed. However, al-buyut following هذه in i'rab, the i'rab of al-buyut can be expressed. So that's why it's in al-buyutu. Al-jadidatu is the nat of al-buyut, so that's why it'll follow in i'rab. So لمن هذه البيوت الجديدة. Here لمدير الشركة. So the word is mudir. Li, there's actually two letters there, lam and mim. Sometimes some fonts, it can be a bit tricky to notice the meme here. The meme is there. Okay, so li mudiri sharikati. Don't read li. You can't even read that. Duiri sharikati. Okay, so remember there's a meme there basically. And a sharikati is with a kasra because mudaf ilay, director of the company. A sharika means company. And nujumu mubtada'un. So we're going to say a nujumu. Jamilatun is the khabar. So mubtada khabar both are marfu. So النجوم جميلة. هذه الدروس. Okay, we're not going to say durusun because there's al there. So هذه is mubtada, الدروس is the badal of هذه because the reference of both are the same. So if we were to remove one, it still refer to the same entity. So whether we say الدروس سهلة, the lessons are easy, or we know we're pointing at الدروس and we just say هذه سهلة, these are easy. So that's badal and mubdal min. So ad-durus is following the i'rab of hadihi, which is in the state of raf, but not expressed. But ad-durus can be expressed, so that's why you said ad-durusu. Sahlatun is the khabar, so that's going to be with dhammatain, because there's no al. Fil Hindi, in India, so followed by a preposition, so it's going to be al-Hindi. Lughatun, now obviously preposition of phrase, I've mentioned this before, if it comes at the beginning it can't take the role mubtada, so fil hind will be classified or will be deemed khabar muqaddam, and lughatun will be the mubtada muakhar. That's why it's lughatun, and kathiratun being the nat of lughatun will be marfu with a dhamma, so kathiratun. Aina is mabni, and aina cannot take the role of mubtada even though it's a noun because it's dharf, and dharf mubtada can't, well, dharf can't take the role of mubtada basically. So this is dharf makan, so where, so we'll treat ain as khabar muqaddam, and al-kutubu will be mubtada muakhar. So al-kutubu, okay. Ain al-kutubu, and al-jadidatu is the nat of al-kutubu. So nat follows manut in i'rab, so it's going to be ain al-kutubu al-jadidatu. Here fil maktabati, here is mabni, so it's going to remain as here. Fil maktabati, al-maktabati is followed by a is preceded by preposition fi, so it's going to be al-maktabati. Tilka sururu, so those beds. So tilka is mubdal min, like a bit like هذه الدروس. السرور is the badal. So whether we're saying السرور مكسورة or we say تلك مكسورة, the reference of both are the same, both share the same reference point. The madlul of both are the same. So السرور is the badal of tilka. It follow the Arab, even though tilka, the Arab is not expressed, but it's experienced. Okay, so certain words in Arabic, they experience the Arab, but they're not expressed. And those who are interested in the Arab course to cover A to Z in terms of vowel markings, Arabic diacritics, how it works, the different types of expressions. Okay, this was all covered through an epic journey of Zayd. Okay, going to Buckingham Palace, and we linked the whole Arab mechanism to a story of Zayd going to Buckingham Palace. So those who want to learn about Arab, you can visit the website on www.sidrainstitute.com, and the Arab course is available. It's 26 hours of content, more or less A to Z, what you need to know in terms of Arab. It's quite extensive. That's why there's 26 hours of content, and it includes uh, the whole mechanism of Arab drills as well. So when you learn one Arab, there's so many drills and practices until you actually understand the Arab fully, and then you move on to the next Arab. And then there was summaries to consolidate your learning, and then also there was Arab on the last chapters of the Quran as well. So from Surah, including Surah Al-Fatiha, working their way backwards from Surah Al-Nas all the way to Surah Al-Qari'ah. So that's why it's 26 hours of content. So those who are interested in that course, it's available on the website if you visit www.sidrainstitute.com. So tilka sururu maksuratun. Okay, maksuratun means broken. So it's the khabar. As-sa'atu mubtada'un, noun at the beginning of a sentence. So the watch, al-yabaniyatu, is the nat of as-sa'atu, so it's going to have the same i'rab. Okay, when we say a word follows the i'rab of another word, it's not necessarily harakat. So notice here, tilka, the last ending was mabniyun al-fath, but as-surur is following the i'rab of tilka. Okay, so as-surur has got a dhamma. So following the i'rab don't necessarily mean the harakat. Okay, so remember that. Following the i'rab is the state, not the harakat. In most instances, you can get away with understanding, oh, it's got the same harakat, like as-sa'atul yabaniyatu, the Japanese watch, but it's not always the case. That's why التابع يتبع متبوعه في الإعراب. The tabi, which is obviously the five things that come under the subordinates, النعت, البدل, عطف البيان, معطوف, and تأكيد, they respectively follow their matbu. Okay, so in the case of nat, it'll be man'ut. In the case of ta'kid, it'll be the mu'akkad. In the case of ma'tuf, it'll follow the i'rab of the ma'tuf alayh. In the case of atful bayan, it'll follow the mubayyan, the word which has been elaborated upon. And then there was one more, which is probably slipped through my mind. Yeah, badal follows mubdal min. So it follows in the i'rab. If you check the grammar books, it don't say yat attabi'u yatba'u matbu'ahu fil harakat. It says fil i'rab. So it follows in the state. And different words express their states in different ways. Sometimes it's through harakat, sometimes it's through huruf, sometimes it's taqdiri, okay, or mahalli. So there's different types of i'rab. All this is covered in the i'rab course. So as-sa'atu al-yabaniyatu rakhisatun. So the Japanese watch is cheap. So rakhisatun is the khabar. هذه الحمر, these donkeys, okay. So هذه is مبتدأ, الحمر is the badal of that, so that's why it's from the i'rab, not necessarily the harakat. Whether we say al-humur or al-hamir, so these donkeys belong to al-fallahi, the farmer. Because of the lam harf jar, it's going to have a kasra. أين كتبكن, so أين is khabar muqaddam. كتبكن, kutubu is got marfu with the dhamma because mubtada, kunna is the mudaf ilayh. Ya akhawatu. When we call out someone, okay, the munada will be mabniyun ala dhamm in most instances, provided it is not mudaf. Okay, because if it's mudaf, it'll be mansoob, like Ya Rasul Allah, Ya Amir al Mu'mineen, Ya Tali'an Jabalan, etc. So here they are fil fasli in the classroom. Okay, هذه كتبي, these are my books. So كتبي, okay, is actually kutubun, but because mudaf towards ya, so the i'rab, this is an example of where kutub, it's the khabar of هذه, but khabar is normally marfu with a dhamma. But because this word has got a ya after it, which is ya al-mutakallim, so we can't say kutubun, bui, we can't say it's hard. So what you do is give a kasra, it becomes kutubi. Where's the harakat? It's taqdiri. Like this will be like the word Musa. Okay, so the i'rab will be taqdiri. All this has been covered in the i'rab course. وَتِلْكَ كُتُبُ أُخْتِي, and those are my sister's books. هذه, these are, so هذه is مبتدا, مكاتب is the khabar, so it's going to be مرفوع with the dhamma, and الطلابي is going to be مجرور with the kasra because it's مضاف إليه. في هذا الشارع, so on this road, في is حرف جر, هذا is the مجرور. But why is الشارع got a kasra? Because it's the badal of هذا. Okay, whenever we use ismul ishara and the next word as al, it'll be treated as badal and mubdal min phrase. Okay, so الشارعي is following the i'rab of هذا, so that's why الشارعي is going to have a kasra. هذا, because it's mabni, the i'rab is not going to be expressed. But الشارعي, we can express the i'rab, that's why we're saying الشارعي. So that's part of the prepositional phrase, في هذا الشارعي. The, and a prepositional phrase at the beginning of a sentence cannot take the role of mubtada. So فنادق is going to be مبتدا مؤخر. So it's مرفوع بالضمة بلا تنوين. It's مرفوع with the dhamma without tanween. Why? Because it's غير منصرف. Okay. What's the cause of it being غير منصرف? It's on the scale of جمع منتهى الجموع. It's a jama which is on the pinnacle of plurals. Basically, we cannot do taksir. We can't break this jam again. Okay, so it's reached its peak. And one side is to recognize plurals on this form is after the alif of the plural, like fanadiqu, there's two or more letters. So fanadiqu, we see there's a dal and a qaf. Masabihu, we see the three letters. Masajidu, mafatihu. So after the alif of the plural, there's what? Two or more letters. Provided there's not ta marbuta. Because with ta marbuta, then it'll cancel it out. So this itself, being on the scale of Jam'ut al-Jumu, is equal to two causes, so we don't need to look for another cause. Kabiratun is a nat of fanadiqu. That's dhammatain because obviously it's not a ghair munsarif, and it's following the i'rab of fanadiqu because it's the sifa. So that's the i'rab done. Okay, I'm going to dictate or say orally the tarkib. Okay. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, let's start. أبواب المسجد, أبواب is mudaf, al-masjid is mudaf ilay, and then أبواب المسجد will become مبتدأ, مفتوحة will be the khabar. لام is حرف الجر, man is اسم مجرور, and the jar majrur becomes connected to that which is hidden. So, هذه البيوت, notice here we're saying هذه, so we'll say it's connected to that which is hidden, which is كائنة. So it coincides with the mubtada, which is هذه. So liman, كائنة liman basically is خبر مقدم. Now let's deal with the mubtada مؤخر. هذه is مبدل من. البيوت, before we make it the badal, we can say it's منعوت. الجديدة is the نعت. Now البيوت الجديدة, the منعوت and نعت, now will pair together to become the badal of هذه. Now we can make the mubtada muakhar, and that is هذه mubdal min, and the badal will consist of man'ut and nat. Al-buyut al-jadidatu will form together to become mubtada muakhar. Okay, so liman is khabar muqaddam, هذه البيوت الجديدة is mubtada muakhar. Here is mubtada'un, so they are, li is harful jar, mudir, so there's two words here, li mudir, so lam is harful jar, mudir is mudaf, الشركة is mudaf ilayh. And then the Possessive phrase مدير الشركة will become مجرور, and then the jar مجرور. جار ومجرور متعلقان بمحذوف. The jar مجرور will become connected to that which is hidden, and we will say it's كائنة because so it coincides with here. Because generally between مبتدا والخبر there's مطابقة. Okay, النجوم is مبتدا, جميلة is خبر, straightforward. هذه مبدل من, don't say مبدل من because it's not from تبديل, it's from إبدال. هذه is مبدل من, الدروس is the بدل. The مبدل من البدل here, هذه الدروس will group together to become مبتدا. سهلة is the خبر. في الهند جار مجرور becomes connected to that which is hidden. What are we going to connect it to? We could say كائنة, because eventually it's going to become the khabar of لغات. And even though لغات is plural feminine, we don't only say كائنات, we can say the singular form. Like when we brought the nat here, we brought the singular. So we can even in the khabar say كائنة. So كائنة في الهند is khabar muqaddam. Now we're left with the mubtada, but it's compounded with a nat. So لغات is منعوت, كثيرة is nat. The منعوت and nat لغات كثيرة will become مبتدأ مؤخر. Next we have is أين. أين is خبر مقدم, despite أين being a noun. Because it's ظرف, it can't take the role of مبتدأ, so we will say أين is خبر مقدم. الكتب الجديدة is going to form the مبتدأ مؤخر, and we know that الكتب is منعوت and الجديدة is the nat. منعوت and nat pairs together to become the مبتدأ مؤخر, and this will be a جملة اسمية إنشائية because it's interrogative. Here is مبتدأ, في is jar, المكتبة is مجرور, and the prepositional phrase في المكتبة will be connected to that which is in, which is كائنة. هي كائنة في المكتبة. تلك is مبدل من, السرور is the بدل. The مبدل من and بدل will group together to become مبتدأ, and مكسورة is the خبر. الساعة اليابانية, الساعة is منعوت, اليابانية is the nat. The منعوت and nat will group together to become مبتدأ, and رخيصة is the خبر. هذه الحمر, هذه is مبدل من, الحمر is the بدل, and the مبدل من and بدل هذه الحمر, or whether we say هذه الحمير, okay, will be مبتدأ, and للفلاح the jar majrur will be connected to that which is hidden, which is كائنة, and that will become the خبر. أين is خبر مقدم, كتبكن مضاف إليه مبتدأ مؤخر, مبتدأ مؤخر. يا is حرف نداء, أخوات is منادى. Here is مبتدأ, في is حرف الجر, الفص is مجرور, and the prepositional phrase في الفص will become connected to that which is hidden, which is كائنة. هذه is مبتدأ, so we're not going to say مبدل من and بدل here because we don't have, after this منشار we don't have a word which has got al. So we'll treat هذه as مبتدأ from the onset, from the get-go. كتبي مضاف إليه is the خبر. واو is حرف العطف, تلك is مبتدأ, so عطف has taken place on a sentence level, so هذه كتبي is one sentence, and تلك كتب أختي is another sentence. So تلك is مبتدأ, كتب is مضاف, أختي مضاف إليه, we can say becomes a مضاف إليه of كتب, and the double possessive phrase كتب أختي will become the خبر of تلك. هذه is مبتدأ, so notice here we did not go down the route of مبدل من and بدل because after the اسم الإشارة there is no al. So هذه is مبتدأ, and مكاتب الطلاب مضاف إليه is the خبر. في هذا الشارع, في is حرف الجر, هذا is مبدل من, الشارع is the بدل, and the مبدل من and the بدل will become مجرور. هذا الشارع will become مجرور, and then the jar مجرور will become connected to that which is hidden. Why are we going to connect it to that which is hidden? We'll say كائنة, following فنادق being جمع مكسر, so we'll bring the خبر accordingly as singular feminine. So we'll say كائنة في هذا الشارع is the خبر مقدم, and the مبتدا consists of منعوت and nat. فنادق is منعوت, كبيرة is the nat, and the منعوت nat becomes مبتدا مؤخر. So that is that page done. So we can get rid of all that. If anybody wants to take a screenshot, you got 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Still looking for that magic button that clears everything in one go in Zoom. Okay, so if anybody does know, please put in the comment. Can save a few seconds, precious time. Okay, here we have an exercise now. So it says tamarin is the plural of tamarinun, is غير munsarif, so it's on the pattern of jam muntal jumu, so we're not saying tamarinun, we're saying tamarinu. Ajib anil as'ilatil atiyati. Ajib means respond, and we'll translate here as to. Al-as'ilati, the questions, al-atiyati means the following. So notice even here as well, al-as'ilati, okay, is plural. Where's the broken plural? Su'alun jam'uhu as'ilatun. So we've treated the nat as singular feminine. So it's all piecing together. So we have the question here, Ain al-kutubul jadidatu. Okay, where are the new books? So here what we want to just do is we want to just put some answers down, okay? So let's put the answers in green. So on the left side, where are the new books? So let's say, for instance, we want to say they are, okay, it's testing us, are we using the correct words for the correct uh, cases, okay? So where are the new books? So let's just say we're going to refer to the books. So we will say singular feminine because al-kutub is broken plural. So here, let's say they in the car. Here, fi sayyarati. So somebody's left them in the car. They didn't bring the books out from the car. So here fi sayyarati. They are in the car. Question number 2. Liman hadihil buyutul kabiratu. Whose are these big houses? So when we refer to houses, we won't say uh, hunna or hum. We'll treat it as singular feminine because al buyut is broken plural. So here, let's say they are lil muallimi. They are the teachers. Okay, the teacher's got a pay rise, and mashallah, now he's got what? Some big houses. So here lil muallim, they are the teachers. أبواب المسجد أبواب السيارة مفتوحة is sorry, are, because it's plural, are the doors of the car open? Okay, so let's say la, no, and we want to say they are closed. So when we say they, we're referring to doors, so we'll say here, and for closed, we'll say مغلقة. لا هي مغلقة. Okay, no, they are shut. Okay, so notice here we're saying here. أين أقلام المدرس? Where are the teacher's pens? Okay, so we're referring to the pens. So we'll say here, and let's just say they are, I don't know, they are in his pocket. Fi JBE. Here, fi JBE, they are in his pocket. Okay, it's just, okay, looking for them. And sometimes you have that moment where you look for something and then you realize it's in your pocket. How many times have we done that? Here, fi JBE. They are in his pocket. So main thing here is we're saying here to refer to pens. Ain al kilab, where are the dogs? Okay, so where are the dogs? Okay, so when we're referring to uh, the dogs, we will say um, here. So let's say they are in the kennels, meaning the place where the dogs stay. Okay, so here في بيت الكلاب. Okay, here في بيت الكلاب. They are in the kennel, kind of locked up. Okay, They're probably some pit bulls. هي في بيت الكلاب. أين الحمير? Where are the donkeys? Okay, where are the donkeys? So hamir is plural. So oops, we will say here. Okay. So where are the donkeys? Okay. So let's say they're in the zoo. في حديقة الحيوان. The donkeys are in the zoo. I'm not sure if you see any donkeys in the zoo. هي في حديقة الحيوان. They are in the zoo. أين كتبك يا مريم? Where are your كتبك? Sorry. أين كتبك? My mistake. يا مريم, where are your books? أين كتبك يا مريم? So she's gonna say here, they are in the classroom. Here في الفصل. So notice here we're referring to the word kutub, so we're gonna say here when we're referring to them. أين دفاتر الطلاب? Where are the students? Okay, notebooks. So we're referring back to notebooks. So we're gonna say here, and we'll say they are on the desk. Here على المكتب. They are. So notice here we're saying here for referring back to the notebooks, دفاتر. أين الفنادق الصغيرة? Where are the small hotels? So let's just say they are on that road. Okay. Here, so we're referring to the hotels. في on that road, so we'll say في تلك sorry في ذلك الشارع. The word shari is masculine, isn't it? So here في ذلك الشارع, they are on that road. So notice here we're referring back to hotels. We're saying here لمن هذه الأقلام الجديدة? Whose are these new pens? So we will refer back to pens and we will say they are للطالب الجديد. They are the new students. So he's come, mashallah, well prepared. Okay, first day at school and he's got all these pens, Parker pens, fountain pens, etc. And especially that pen you get with all those 10 different colors. Okay, so لمن هذه الأقلام الجديدة? Whose are these new pens? Here is referring back to the pens. So للطالب الجديد, they are the new students. Next we have is حول المبتدا في كل من الجمل الآتية إلى جمع. حول means change. المبتدا means the مبتدا in every following sentences, okay, to plural. So الباب مفتوح becomes الأبواب مفتوحة. هذا قلم جديد. These are new pens. Sorry, this is a new pen. We're going to say these are new pens. We'll say هذه because we're referring to جمع مكسر, and we'll say جدد. هذه أقلام جدد. Oh, sorry, جديدة. Sorry. Okay. هذه أقلام جديدة. So singular feminine. Okay. So النجم جميل. The star is beautiful. We want to say the stars are beautiful. That's going to become النجوم جميلة. Okay. ذلك كتاب قديم. That is an old book. So we want to say those are old books. So ذلك, because we're referring to broken plural, that's going to become tilka. And kitab is going to change to plural, kutubun. And qadima is going to become singular feminine, so it's going to be qadimatun. Tilka kutubun qadimatun. Okay, so the feminine, singular feminine of ذلك will be tilka. ذلك البيت جميل. That house is beautiful. So we'll say those houses, because why we're saying from ذلك to tilka? Because Bayt is going to become Buyut. And if it becomes Buyut, we have to use Ismul Ishara for singular feminine. So we're going to say tilka al-buyutu, so those houses, and jamilatun also is going to be singular feminine. We're going to say jamilatun. So tilka al-buyutu jamilatun. Those houses are beautiful. Okay, so هذا الدرس سهل. This lesson is easy. So هذه is going to become sorry, هذا الدرس سهل. This lesson is easy. Is going to become هذه. Dars is going to become durus. And sahlun is going to become sahlatun. So هذه الدروس سهلة. These lessons are easy. ذلك الجبل بعيد. So that mountain is far, but we wouldn't say mountains. Plural of jabal is jibal. So ذلك is going to change to tilka. تلك الجبال, and then we're going to say بعيدة, singular feminine. So those mountains are far. ذلك الجبل بعيد, plural form be تلك الجبال بعيدة. Those mountains are far. Okay, so you can take a screenshot of these answers. Okay, so we will need to rub them off now and move on to our next slide, inshallah. هذا المكتب مكسور. So we have to still continue with the annotation, inshallah. So هذا المكتب مكسور. So we will say هذه المكاتب مكسور. Sorry, مكسورة. Singular feminine, isn't it? So these desks are broken. هذه المكاتب مكسورة. هذا مسجد. So this was هذا مسجد جميل. This is a beautiful masjid. It's going to become هذه مساجد, and then singular feminine for the nat جميلة. These are beautiful masjids. Because we're pointing at broken plural, that's what we're using هذه. This is a cheap watch. When we say these are cheap watches, because it's going to become sa'atun, we can still even then treat it as singular feminine. So even feminine plurals like sa'atun, sa'atun, ta'iratun, ta'iratun, which is come later on, we still can point using the singular feminine version. So هذه ساعات, and then رخيصة can remain as رخيصة. So these are cheap watches. Okay, so we won't say هؤلاء, we'll say هذه, singular feminine. Even though ساعة, ساعات, the at sound, feminine plural, we can still treat as singular when we bring in the nat or pointing at them. تلك الطائرة. So those uh, birds, okay, are big. So we can say تلك الطائرات كبيرة. Okay, so تلك الطائرات كبيرة. So the only change there is طائرة to طائرات. The rest will remain valid. هذا طالب جديد. So this is a new student. So we would say these are new students. هذا will become هؤلاء. طالب will become طلاب. And جديد will become جدد. So هذا طلاب. Let's use the singular feminine. You can use that as well. جديدة. هؤلاء طلاب جديدة. These are new students. Remember, طالب, plural is طلاب for masculine. طالبة, the plural is طالبات. ذلك الرجل تاجر كبير. That man is a big businessman. So we will say those men. So ذلك will change to tilka because now we are referring to a rijal, which is a broken plural. So tilka rijalu, we're using tujar plural. So When we bring the noun, it's going to be singular feminine. We're going to say كبيرة. تلك الرجال تجار كبيرة. Those men are big businessmen. هذا النهر كبير. This river is big. So we refer to rivers. So هذا will become هذه because we're referring to أنهار now. هذه الأنهار. And kind of we're treating it as singular feminine. We're going to say كبيرة. So هذه الأنهار كبيرة. These rivers are big. Okay. Next exercise. ضع في الأماكن الخالية. Place in the empty spaces فيما يلي in that which follows in the following أخبارا مناسبة a suitable خبر or suitable خبرs. So البيت will just say البيت we could say نظيف. The house is clean. النظافة من الإيمان. النجوم the stars let's just say they are far. Because we're referring to a broken plural we'll say النجوم بعيدة. الباب okay we'll just say it's closed. الباب مغلق. So the door is closed. So because we're bringing the khabar we don't need to bring the word al. القلم let's say the pen is قديم. The pen is old. القلم قديم. The pen is old. البيوت the houses are new. But we're referring to broken plural so we'll say جديدة. The houses are new. Okay, the doors, let's just say they are beautiful. So al-abwabu, or let's just say they're broken. Al-abwabu maksuratun. Okay, a lot of vandalizing. As-sayyaratu, the cars. Okay, let's just say they are beautiful. So singular feminine even for the words that end with at. As-sayyarat jamilatun. So the cars are beautiful. Al-mindil, which means handkerchief. So the handkerchief is dirty. Somebody's been sneezing all over it. Al-mindilu wasikhun. The handkerchief is dirty. Al-fanadiqu, the hotels. Okay, let's just say they are tall, they are high. Murtafi'atun. So al-fanadiqu murtafi'atun, the hotels are quite tall. At-tullab, the students. Okay, let's just say they come in. Qadimatun. Qadimatun means coming. We're treating at-tullab as broken plural. It's a broken plural, so it's going to be treated as singular feminine. So at-tullabu qadimatun. The students are coming. Al-qumsan is the plural of qamis. So we'll say the shirts are, let's say, expensive. The shopkeeper is ripping you off. Al-qumsanu or thaminatun. So you try to haggle him down. So al-qumsanu thaminatun. So that's that exercise done. Hati jam'il kalimat al-atiya. Okay, hati means bring forth the plural of the following words. So babun is abwab. Hati does not mean elephant, that's in Urdu. Hati in Arabic means produce. The plural is mentioned in the Quran. قُلْ هَاتُوا بُرْهَانَكُمْ إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. Bring your evidence if you are uh, amongst the truthful ones. So Baytun is buyut. Najmun is nujum. Okay. Qalamun is aqlam. Whenever we refer to these words that we're just writing the plural of, you're going to treat these words as uh, singular feminine. So remember, this word is humurun. Let's get the harakat down. And you got hamir as well. Sarirun is sururun. Nahrun, plural is anharun, and sayyaratun is sayyaratun. Okay, so sayyaratun is sayyaratun. Okay, so that's that exercise done. Babun, abwabun, baytun, buyutun, najmun, nujumun, qalamun, aqlamun, himarun, humurun or hamir, sarirun, plural is surrun, nahrun, plural is anharun, sayyaratun, plural is sayyaratun. So forgot that. Let's see if we can just do that on its own. Just place it next to it. Yeah, it's a bit off. It's okay, do. Okay. Um, oh, we've got some more words. Okay, so let's just quickly do these words. Okay, so we can finish the lesson off today, inshallah. So probably just going over time uh, by 5 minutes or so. So kalbun is kilabun. Kalbun is kilabun. Ta'iratun is ta'iratun. This can be used for bird or it can also be used for plane as well. Then that flies. Do you understand? Tara yatiru. Tayran means to fly. So darsun is durus. All these words we more or less have covered. Bahrun is biharun or abhurun, like in the Quran. Abhurun ma nafidat kalimatullah. Kitabun is kutubun. And qamis is qumsan, which we've just done. Darrajatun, we're just going to add the ta mabsuta and it become plural, so it's going to become darrajatun, which means bicycles. And haqlun, which means field, is huqulun. Okay, so fields. And jabalun, we know, is jibalun. Okay, so that's the plural of all these words. Our new words in this lesson, asharika, plural sharikat. It means company. Mudiru sharika, director of the company. Rakhisun means cheap. Al-qamis, there's a bit of a mistake there. Al-qamis supposed to be sukun. There's a tashid there. Al-qumsan is the plural. Okay, so I've got my own kind of vocab here as well. So this is something obviously I always share with you lot. So here, obviously, Mudir Sharika, director of the company. If you want to say director of the company, it will be Mudiru Sharika. Yabaniyatun means Japanese. Qamisun, plural Qumsan. Sharikatun, Sharikat, company. Rakhisun, plural Rikhasun, cheap. Mindilun, handkerchief, plural Manadil. So let's start our flashcards and see how you get on with your vocab. So we have our first word, Yabaniyatun. Yabaniyatun. Okay, so what does yabaniyatun mean? Okay, so yabaniyatun. Okay, okay, so the first word means Japanese. Japanese. Okay, our next word is cheap. How do we say cheap in Arabic? How do we say cheap in Arabic? Okay, cheap in Arabic is rakhisun. Rakhisun. Okay, our next word is sharikatun. What does the word sharikatun mean? Okay, sharikatun in English means company. Sharikatun means company. Our next word is shirt. How do we say shirt in Arabic? How do we say shirt in Arabic? Shirt in Arabic is qamisun. Qamisun. Next we have is mudiru sharika. What does the word mudiru sharika mean? Okay, mudiru sharika means a director of the company. Director of the company. Next one we have is handkerchief. Okay, handkerchief. How do you say handkerchief in Arabic? Handkerchief in Arabic is mindilun. Mindilun. Okay, so that concludes the flashcards. Inshallah, next week we will cover uh, lesson 18. Okay, so lesson 18, inshallah, next week we will cover. And Alhamdulillah, if anybody is interested in any of our courses, we do run the Arabic Balagha course, where we cover the three disciplines of Balagha extensively with exercises, summaries, um, and to preserve the, we'll say, the texts to be found in the books of Balagha in Arabic, we keep the text in Arabic and is explained thoroughly in English. So there's not really great deal of content displayed in English because Arabic rhetoric and balagha is, of advanced level of learning. So that's why obviously the Arabic text is presented and displayed through the PowerPoints and then is explained through the medium of the English language. Also, the Arab course, which I mentioned and touched upon before, that's complete. It's 26 hours of content. Anybody wants to know A to Z about Arab in a fun and enjoyable way, interactive way, it's there as pre-recorded lessons. It's available on the website. Currently, we are also running on the weekends a Silsilatul Qur'aniyya, Quranic series. We've started with Surah Al-Fatiha, where we cover the surface meaning of Surah Al-Fatiha, the first chapter, the connection between the surahs, the chapters, the cause of revelation if there is, and there's flashcards to retain the words that we've learnt in terms of translation of the words. Then we cover the Arab, the Arabic diacritics, then the sentence construction, tarkib. Okay, and all this is PowerPointed. It's at a pace where it's digestible, it's understandable, and it's easy to follow. And also followed by obviously um, rhetorical points taken from various tafsirs. For example, صفة التفاسير, التحرير والتنوير, التفسير الكبير, التفسير المنير, etc. So whatever the profound points are to be found in Surah Al-Fatiha, they are also covered. And then at the end, they, there is just a brief overall tafsir in Arabic, which is displayed, and we just read through it, and then that finalizes the content covered in the first surah which we started, so it's something new. And also, obviously, the different recitals that are to be found and variations of reading, those are also covered, but through the lens of grammar. So sometimes we can say, we see that in the tafsir kitabs it's mentioned, you can say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, you could say Alhamda Lillahi Rabbil Alameen, or Alhamdi. And from a grammatical perspective, how is that valid? So those kind of aspects are also covered as well. So it's quite intense, but it's easy going. When we hear the word intense, we shouldn't become scared, but it's easy going. So the idea and intention is to move on to the short chapters from Surah An-Nas onwards and see how it goes. Okay, So we'll be in 2 weeks' time. We'll be actually finishing, inshallah, Surah Al-Fatiha. So hopefully, inshallah, be a live event. So those who do want to participate in the conclusion of the intense study of Surah Al-Fatiha, then they may do so, inshallah. Um, just keep a watch out, inshallah, and the details will be provided, inshallah. And alternatively, you can log on to www.sidrainstitute.com for more information.